This is TOMU, the open mic Unfiltered. This is part 2 of episode 3, treatment. This was supposed to be the part on advance, but on reflection, I thought maybe the last episode of Medanaf was a little critical heavy. So this could be a 4-parter. Stay tuned. If you made it through my last episode about Medanaf, first off, fair play. It wasn't light. It wasn't easy to say, or live for that matter. I know some of you messaged me after saying, asking me, mate, are you okay? And, some of you were saying you made me think twice about starting Medanaf. Is it really that bad? So I just thought I'd do another part and sit here, just breathe for a second and say something clear. Medanaf wasn't bad. It was just true. And true doesn't always feel gentle. The truth is, I needed it. I needed that season of discomfort. I needed to learn what my mind does when you tug the blanket away. I needed to see what happens when the chatter dims, but not in the way I expected. See, a lot of people think meds are a magic trick. Pop the pill, fix the brain, like it's an instant on switch. But it's not. It's a test. It's really a long conversation with your own chemistry. And, sometimes the answer isn't what you wanted, but it's what you needed. I will never forget the day one on Medanaf. Just this tiny tablet, tiny dose, 5 milligram. It didn't look like it could do much, but it did. For a few golden hours, I felt here, present, fully. There was no fight in my head about what to say next. There was no mental script running 5 lines ahead. I could sit across from someone and I could hold a chat, not drift off into the shadows behind my own eyes. And then I thought, right, this is it. This is the one. And spoiler, it wasn't. But here's the thing no one talks about. Those small flashes of peace, they matter more than the sweaty palms, the spikes, the anxious dips. And it's proof there's a version of you under all the chaos. Still, clear, and reachable. Medanaf, it gave me a lot of tiny proofs. Moments where I didn't reach for weed because I didn't feel the pull. Moments where I didn't pick a fight just to feel something. Moments where I could sit and not interrupt. Moments where the TV was on, but the noise in my head, it wasn't louder than the film. If you've never lived in a mind like mine, maybe that sounds small. But if you know, you know. And those small moments, they're gold dust. And then you might question and ask, why did I say it felt like 50 days of hell? Well, because there's a dark side too. For me, the spikes came hard, that sudden jolt, sometimes a wave of heat up my neck, sometimes a tension in my chest that made me question every heartbeat, like I was an untrained paramedic for my own body. There were days the craft came early, when the med faded off and the old thoughts crept back in, stronger, nastier, like they'd been waiting outside the door. There were nights I cried, not because Medanaf was evil, but because it showed me my fear in daylight. But, you see, that's what I needed. I needed to see that the fear wasn't always about the pills. Sometimes it was about the space they gave me. When you've drowned your mind in distraction for years, weed, booze, Netflix, chaos, you forget what it's like to sit in silence. Medanaf, it gave me pockets of silence. A silence can be terrifying when you're used to the noise. And then the truth is, some days it did work. I'd get up, take that tiny pill, and my brain would hum just right. I'd send messages I'd been avoiding for days. I'd sit at my desk and work for 2 solid hours. That's unheard of for me. I'd walk to the shop and not scan the pavement for imaginary heart attacks. I'd come home, I'd take my second dose, the booster, and it would lift me again, just enough to get through the evening. I'd cook dinner, I'd laugh with my girlfriend. I'd lie on the sofa half tired, but peaceful. For a bit, it felt like living, and finally not not just surviving. And the reason why I didn't stay on it was because, the good moments weren't enough to balance the rest. For me. Not forever. Not yet, anyway. But the point is, they existed. And that means something. The bigger lesson, or the biggest lesson for me was, it wasn't about the dose. It wasn't about 5 or 10 or 15. It was about trust. Medanaf forced me to trust my body again, and to see when I didn't. To watch how I overthink every heartbeat. To notice how one spike can send me Googling symptoms for an hour. Just to realize that sometimes I'm not feeling the pill. I'm feeling my fear of feeling anything at all. And that's not a pill problem. That's a me problem. And you know what? I'm glad I got to see it up close. I know some of you listening right now might be on Medanaf or curious as to getting treatment for ADHD, or you could be on your own medication journey. Maybe it's working. Maybe you hate it. Maybe you're in the middle like I was, wondering, is this it? Is this how it's meant to feel? I wish I had the perfect answer for you, but I don't. Your brain is yours, not mine. Some people find their sweet spot on Medanaf and stay there for years. Steady, calm, level. If that's you, I'm buzzing for you. Keep going. But don't let my dark days spook you off your bright ones. And if you find yourself struggling, give yourself patience. This stuff is trial and error. It takes weeks, sometimes months. Sometimes you up the dose, sometimes you split it through the day, like I did, chasing that smoother curve. Sometimes it's your gut, sometimes it's your sleep. Sometimes it's just your head trying to outrun the stillness. But be curious, be patient, and be honest with your doctor and with yourself. What I feel Medanaf, really gave me was permission. Like permission to try, permission to say I want better, and permission to learn my own wiring. Permission to admit I want a life that's clear and awake, not dulled by old habits. When it didn't stick, it pushed me to find what would. That's how I landed here on Elvance. And maybe Elvance won't be forever either. Maybe it's another stepping stone, and that's fine. I'd rather be a man who keeps stepping than one who stops trying. So, don't be scared for me. Don't feel bad for me. And don't feel bad for you either. If your path looks similar, none of this is wasted time. Not the sweaty days, not the spikes, not the tears. It's all information. It's all a breadcrumb trail back to yourself. I look back now and you know what? I'm proud of every single day I stayed on Medanaf, because it would have been easier to run, to pour a drink, to light a joint, to say, fuck this, it's too much. But I didn't. I stayed, I showed up, I took the pill, I learned, and I kept going. All the way to a new plan that feels more me. And if you're sitting there listening to this wondering, should I quit? Ask yourself this instead. What have I learned? What do I know now about myself that I didn't before? And what do I want from the next step? And then take that step, one honest day at a time. Medanaf, it didn't fix me, but it helped me fix my faith in myself. And I'll take that trade any day. I'm still here, more awake, more real, more honest with you and with me. So yeah, don't let my story scare you. Let it remind you that your story is yours. Write it your way. And I'll catch you at the next dose. In the meantime, be good to yourself. And if you've enjoyed the podcast, please leave a review or a rating. It really does help. And I wouldn't be mad if it was 5 stars. But more importantly, if you feel it could help someone, then please share it. We are not alone, but very much together. Thanks for listening. Come as you are.